Game begin.
It's Thursday night at Hex & Co. on Broadway, Thursday Night Throwdown. We're going to do another live episode of the Spike Calling Podcast, but we have a special guest today, Matt Sperling of Matt Sperling
Are you a
fame.
two-time or a three-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor?
4-time, but I appreciate the subtle insult.
4-time?
Yeah.
Shoot, man.
Good.
Are you counting like that Worlds that had 16 people in it?
I'm not. I've never made. Well, I'm not counting my 5th place at Worlds actually.
Oh, well, so 5-time.
No, because it was the small field Worlds, but you just tried to get me into like a catch-22 there. You're like, are you counting a top 8 in a small field Worlds? I said, no, I'm not counting my 5th. You said, okay, so you have 5.
I actually was going to compliment you.
Matt, on a scale of 1 through 10, how humble would you say you are?
No, that's a trap.
On a scale of 1
you.
to 10, how humble am I?
You went to law school.
5.
You can't fall for this.
Okay. Where should we start? I guess tell us a little bit about yourself, in case anybody that doesn't know you, besides your Pro Tour achievements.
Avid mono white control hater.
Same.
No. I've been playing Magic for most of my life, and I'm 42 years old, so that tells you I've been playing a while. But I actually have fun playing a variety of formats. I play some CDH, I play some Premodern, I play some 93, 94. This last weekend I played a Pro Tour, and then when the Pro Tour was over, I played some 93, 94 against Brian Weissman with his copy of the deck, which was fun. So I like to mix it up.
So you are sort of in the bucket that like Sam Black is sort of in, where you just like playing Magic. There's like how much of your enjoyment comes from playing Magic, and how much of your enjoyment comes from like the sort of like grindery accomplishing things. Like, is accomplishing things like a symptom of your love for playing, or does it factor in more heavily into your motivation?
It's a good question, and I actually I try not to introspect, but rather look at what I actually do. It's in motion, and I don't actually spend a lot of time at the computer playing by myself. I like the social aspect. I think it's fun to get together with friends. So I'm more I'll play what's going on down the street versus I love trying to solve a new puzzle of a new format. I think that's how it shows up in terms of what I actually play. But I do I'm kind of like Sam Black, where I'll mix it up, and it's not just tournaments. Winning a tournament, though, I do feel I do have that in me too, that I'd rather win the tournament with a stock list than have the most awesome brew that finished 12th. So I have a little bit of everything.
That was the classic Patrick Sullivan to Patrick Chapin question. Would you rather top 16 a tournament with your own deck or win the tournament with the stock deck? And no matter what Patrick Chapin said, Patrick Sullivan accused him of lying.
sounds about
Don't
right.
believe it.
All right, tell us about your journey into Premodern.
I think I first heard of Premodern when someone brought it to a 93-94 game night. So I think retro formats in general are fun, and they're a pretty fertile ground to explore Magic without some of the things that have gone off, some of the power creep that's gone haywire. So I think it's really good that there's a lot of different tinkering in these formats. I haven't played a ton of Premodern, but just a little bit. And then a couple of tournaments back, some friends of mine were oh, let's all bring Premodern. So I built a couple decks. They're not good decks, but then we all brought 2 decks. So I've done a little bit of just really casual gaming with friends, played a tournament or two, but don't have a lot of exposure to it. I'm borrowing a deck today. I don't bring Premodern everywhere I go or anything.
Tell us about the deck you're borrowing and how you like it so far.
Yeah, I asked to borrow Enchantress or Full English Breakfast. The person I'm borrowing from said, a couple of those are hard for you to put together. I said, fine, just give me Dreadnought or something easy.
They could have asked me. I own.
So I'm playing Dreadnought. I'm playing Dreadnought, which I've played a lot of cantrip combo decks. So even though I've never played a game with Dreadnought before the tournament, it's not hard to figure out over the board.
I think I saw you do a fancy play earlier where you vision charmed out a Altar of Dementia in response to a Xantid Swarm trigger.
Okay. So there actually is a funny backstory to that play. The only thing I told Lan about which version to build, I said it has to be a version with 2 peak because I don't play. I need the training wheel.
Hold on. I actually need to show you this text because I saw you. We had movie collab last night, and Lan tosses you the deck from across the room. So I'm watching you rifle through it, and you're having a great time rifling through it. And you do this big pause when you get to peak. And so I texted Lan and I said, did you put Peak in Sterling's deck to help him out, or do you just believe in the
I
card?
insisted on it.
And he said, did he show you the deck? And I was like, I was watching him flip through it, and he paused on the Peak, because I thought that you were like, oh, Peak, what is this disgusting card? I can figure out what's in their hand. But
first
no, it
time
was
I
your request.
No, there's there's a level beyond ego where there's some level 8 ego where you don't play Peak because you don't want to look like you need the training wheels. And I'm like, I don't need to not play Peak to look like I don't need it, and so I know that I need it because I don't play a lot of Premodern. So I was like,
This is the humility scale.
because
Yeah.
because I wanted, and then sure enough, I peeked. I saw his hand, and I'd never played the matchup, but I could tell what was happening. I'm like, okay, I need a desperation phase out the altar, but that's like an over the board solve because of Peak, because I insisted on Peak going in the deck. So that's the level I reached this tournament.
And if you scryed one, you would not have found the same solution.
No, Scry 1, I would have been looking for a play after Xanthus Storm's Trigger Resolve, which I would have been dead.
Did you, I mean, I'm guessing you didn't, but did you have the Essence Flares in for potential Xanthid Swarm here?
I did not bring my Essence Flares in. I don't know who has Xanthid Swarm.
If your opponent has green,
Game 1, he played Ancient Tomb, Gemstone Cavern, so I have no idea what he has.
But that deck has Xanthid Swarm.
Well, now I know.
Yeah, so if your opponent is a combo deck with green, they typically have 3 Xanthid Swarm.
There's logical.
If your opponent
is Defense Grid a legal card in the format?
It's main deck defense card.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna do some coaching. Mike is here on Enchantress today. Oh, I guess we just looked at his sideboard.
I'll put it away.
He put it away.
I put it away before this discussion began.
He might have taken the Xanthid Swarms out of the sideboard. Who knows? But basically, the decks that play Xanthid Swarm are this Ill-Gotten Gains combo deck. That's a Storm deck.
I mean, the number one deck to play
the
Xanthid Swarm is Enchantress.
Yeah, Enchantress is also very popular and has it. And then the Devourer combo, which you just played against, have it. It's actually not a very popular card in the format, but the Dreadnought lists got so inbred to the Enchantress lists leveling up the matchup by bringing Xanthid Swarm that they sort of changed some Blue Blast for Essence Flare.
Essence Flare's also it's pretty good because it kills Lackey, Jackal Pup, Llanowar Elf.
Yeah, sure. When I asked Lan, I saw Essence Flare in the list I copied, and I said, is this for Lackey, Llanowar Elf? And his response was also Xanthid Swarm. So I had a little bit of info, but I didn't have enough info. I was not able to determine my opponent had Xanthid Swarm.
Yeah, that would have been a deep pull to see the gemstone.
I didn't find it. I did not find
Enchantress is if you said what decks have Xanthid Swarm, Enchantress is the first deck people would name, and Devour is probably the second deck people would name.
Sure. So why did you chicken out of mono white control tonight?
I brought it.
Well, what does that mean? I brought it.
It's in my bag.
I repeat my question. Why did you chicken out?
What happened was we have a Discord, and SWB, who is the ringer of these events, posted this deck in our Discord. I immediately got very excited, and then I was like, oh, this deck can't ever beat Dreadnought after sideboarding, so then I started changing it by doing stuff like taking out Temple of the False God, and then SWB took out even more Temple of the False God. Then we were talking last night, I'm like, now that we don't have Temple of the False God, this deck just has no ceiling, right? We have every answer except for the answer to the question why you should be playing the deck. And it's literally just worse than black-white control, worse than Landstill. It's like Landstill without the counters, black-white control without the Gerard's verdict. I'm just a deck that has Eternal Dragon and Decree of Justice, whereas you're a deck that everything can go wrong for you. You sit there for a few turns, cast a couple cards, and then you could just combo through a 7-card hand.
Sure.
I can't do that. I can cycle an Eternal Dragon. Hope my opponent doesn't have... in Game 1, there's people who have Cataclysm and Armageddon, and I can't do anything about it in Game 1. I can just not play my lands out, which is not great for a deck that has to have at least 5 to 7 lands and operate at a basic
level. I do think Armageddon is a totally fair answer to why didn't you play mono white control. I think that's fair.
It's just can't stop it, right? So...
Matt, do you have any impressions on the format? Are there things that you said you built some decks.
Sorry, again, no, mine. Well, you need to put yours on. Also.
Yeah.
Did you melee?
Well,
I'll do.
Well, you put it in.
How do you... Sorry, I'm on a podcast right now. I don't care. Okay, I don't care has been declared.
What
was the question?
Our
The
listeners
question
love
was
him,
you built some decks. Do you have anything that you're kind of like that you like? Decks that you like looking at, decks that you like are thinking about building, cards that you're like, oh, does anybody play this kind of stuff in the format?
I'm just like,
yeah, I mean, it definitely. I played through all these. I played through every set that's in Premodern. It definitely scratches some of the itch, and a lot of the decks that look interesting that I like to own are decks I used to play. I used to play Enchantress back in the day. I used to play Tog, so I built Tog. What Tog was one of the decks I built because I used to play it. So I wanted to fact fiction with Tog out again or whatever. So it's nice. And it scratches that itch. I'm sure the metagame's not that great because these retro formats have strengths and weaknesses, and metagame balance is usually not a strength, whereas nostalgia and scratching the itch of getting to have sequences used to play. So I like to try to enjoy it for what it's good at. CEDH is bad at playing to win because it's multiplayer, but I can still enjoy CEDH for what it is. And Premodern, it's fun to play 1v1 with old school cards, and I don't know much about the metagame, but I'm sure that's not the part that I'm going to enjoy a lot.
Oh, what if I told you the metagame was really balanced?
It's really dynamic also.
Yeah.
No one who doesn't play seriously believes us.
Maybe at the skill level you guys execute.
That's humility 5 there.
Lanny, how did your first round go?
I played against one Michael J. Flores.
Oh, wow. Was he playing mono white control?
He's playing Enchantress. Game 1, he had it. I guess I could have drawn... I had, the counter answers plan available because I had, lots of AK, but I also just didn't want to do it because it was going to take too long.
I mean, I was rolled up on turn 2, right?
Well, you had Argothian Enchantress, which my deck has no main deck answers for. I'm playing my Moxless Grotog list. And then you had Enchantress's Presence, which I have, one main deck answer for. So immediately I needed to go to the, have 4 counter spells in my hand plan.
Well,
which,
can't you just Turbo Tog, or never? Turbo Tog never works against him?
The deck has Plow, and I had Opalwave in my hand.
Right, but okay. If my opponent played Argothian Enchantress, Enchantress Presence, did you have a Tog? You didn't even have access to a Tog at that point.
Well, it's turn 3, so I didn't have access to a Tog. I couldn't deal 20 with it, but
fine scoop.
But the sort of equilibrium here is that Michael J at that point now has to resolve either 3 of his copies of Opalescence or 1 copy of Replenish. Those are his only win cons. So if I can develop a hand that has 4 counterspells that I can all cast in the same turn, then I'll get it.
Unless I have main deck Gaia's Blessing.
Unless he has more than 4 win cons. But the stock list has 4 win cons. So I could have played for that, but I had basically gushed to try to find a counterspell or foil to contain the first or the Enchantress Presence.
Reclamation in the main deck right now, right?
I mean, whatever. Then I need 5 or 6 counterspells or
all in
whatever.
One turn. I mean, you might that has 70 mana.
I mean, you could also just you could also just get decked or whatever. Anyways, I didn't want to play to that out because that was boring. I wanted to move to my sideboard games. I brought in a pretty exciting 11 card sideboard. I had 3 Pyroclasms that deals with Xanted Storm and Argothian at the same time, and animated copies of Miri's Guile and Sacred Ground, which
I had 2 Sacred Ground in play.
They
were Pyroclasms.
I was actually literally at a spot with your Opalescence in play. I had a line to double Pyroclasm all your Presences and your Argothian, but I just didn't find the second Pyroclasm, which would have been the last one left in my deck. But aside from that, the game started. It was Argothian. I Pyroclasmed. It was Presence. I Ray of Revelation, and then it was Presence. I had
I had 2 more Presents, but you had Ray in your graveyard.
Ray flashback, but so I had lost my green mana for a turn.
Yeah, I put out Donkey Enchantments hoping to bait out Ray, but then I drew an Argothian, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. So the train had left the station. Typically, my Grotog games against Enchantress, they once you deal with the first 2 to 3 Enchantress effects, you just win from there because they only draw, explorations and whatever. But yeah, if they draw 5, it's a lot harder.
He stacked with that.
Yeah, he probably did. I mean, he would. I actually stopped him from
stack the deck.
stacking.
He took the deck, shuffled it, and then I did not cut what he handed me. So Lanny stacked the deck.
Yeah, it's funny how I remember that back in the day from this era. Some players just always had 5 of their 8.
Many of them named Michael.
Yeah.
Many of them named Michael.
That's not about the nostalgia of the format. Because I remember when, certain players always had all 3 copies, and other players just had whatever the deck brought them. You know?
Fair enough. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm super excited about this Grow deck. I think I sort of said on the last podcast, like, I can't believe I didn't cut Mox Diamond for Gemstone Mine in 2024 when
you were first messaging me, all you wanted to do was talk about Mox Diamond and Gush.
I mean, that's not true. When I first messaged you, I just wanted to talk. So, some background. I learned about Premodern. Mike is like the Premodern guy. He's like had an article or whatever. So I DM on Twitter, and I was like, you can play like Gush and Deep Analysis and Factor Fiction, and I was like, and then you can careful study those cards. I was like, there's so much ridiculous card draw in the format. How come there's not a deck that's just like all card draw? And
there is. You played it. It's the Blue
yeah.
Storm deck that you beat me with in PSS.
And I was a little bit wrong about the specific card draw spells, but yeah, it did bore out that way. I was just like cut Mox Diamond from Grotog. I like thought that it was a load-bearing element of the deck to make the mana work. It's a 5-color deck that is splashing Korean Dryad, Fire Ice, Swords of Plowshares, Psychotog, and sometimes Engineered Plague, Pyroclasm out of the sideboard, that kind of stuff, and Ray of Revelation, right? So it was doing that with 4 City of Brass and 4 Mox Diamond, and Mox Diamond was powered by Gush, except for you were also an 18-land deck, so a lot of your sequences were like Island, Mox Diamond, Korean Dryad, miss your next
also
10
like
land
a
drops.
Gush, I mean, Days typically.
Yeah, Days used to be in the deck.
Days Gush deck that has like City of Brass and sometimes an Undiscovered Paradise, sometimes Trevor's Ruins, a lot of non-islands.
Yeah, so there was a lot of tension going in every direction, and it's incredible what happens when you take 4 cards out of your deck that are neither spells or lands, and you replace them with spells and lands. And, to talk about the relative skill level of the format, I do think, like, Mox Diamond is just, like, only good with land tax, and every Mox Diamond deck since then is like a scam.
What about Weathered Wayfarer? That's basically land tax.
I don't think we...
You don't count Sylvan Library and Weathered Wayfarer allegedly the other ways to make it work?
I think
I played that 2 weeks ago. I thought it was really powerful.
I think that the inherent balance here is that
Sylvan.
So whether I guess I'll address those one at a time. Weathered Wayfarer, first off, is introduces tension to your deck by it's a card that only gets mana sources, and those mana sources are sometimes flexed into being spells, but there's like at least a bucket of matchups where like live Weathered Wayfarer gets you practically nothing, right? It just gets you lands that tap for mana, and it also is like air, right? Are pairings up?
People seem to be moving.
No, they're not.
Okay.
So Weathered Wayfarer is air, and so first I was just like, oh, you should build you build Weathered Wayfarer like you build land tax, right? So the land tax decks have like between 18 and 20 lands. So I was like, oh, I'll build a deck with like 18 or 20 lands in Weathered Wayfarer. Except for I would just like keep a 1-lander and go like Plains Weathered Wayfarer, and they would go like kill it, and then I would be stuck on 1 land. Mm-hmm. So that's like one thing about Weathered Wayfarer that I don't like. So don't get me wrong, once you've sank 3 WWW into your Weathered Wayfarer, you'll have finally, done the same work that a Tithe would do to enable your mods. And then obviously the Sylvan Library deck doesn't play 18 lands, it plays 26 or 27 lands, so it's a little bit more safe.
Sure.
Moving on to the Sylvan Library topic, if you're paying the 8 life, it's like to wash out the card disadvantage, then that's fine, but that also sounds to me like, why don't you just tap 2 lands to play Sylvan Library? Why don't you just draw Birds of Paradise is like a card that I think is completely serviceable, that does a good Weathered Wayfarer impression and does a good Mox impression. Yeah. So I think that the Terrageddon list, I'm like notorious for hating it, but I also just think that all of these parts, like what's like the sum that's greater than the parts that we're building here? We're like we're like sometimes drawing a few extra wastelands. We're sometimes casting Call to Herd on 2, but like not flashing it back because you need 4 lands and a Mox to go Call to Herd into flashback Call to Herd.
I actually think that the current incarnation of Green White Terrian and like I played that Rich and SWB made that has abundance in it is like the kind of, if Kai wanted to play Premodern, that's the kind of deck Kai would want to play. It has so much deck touching, and his ability to lever deck touching into additional value is very high. It's like one of his defining qualities as a player, right? Like I think he would intuitively know when to go get City of Traders and intuitively know when to get Core Haven, like intuitively know when to attack with his 1/1 instead. All right, that's round.
That's round, yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about Kai. All right.
Right. Well, rest in peace, and we will be back in round 2 or after round 2. Thanks, Matt.
Good luck, guys.
Not having Pyroclasm? Yeah.
What deck were you?
Rich was playing version 1.0 of Moxless Grow, and I'm already on version 3.5. So he's
so here's my arc for the week, right? I'm like, I'll play Mengu's Replenish. By the way, like the more I look and think about Mengu's Replenish, the more unplayable it seems to me. It just like it gets its thing, and then who cares?
Yep.
Like, it's seriously, who cares?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a way worse deck than Enchantress, as far as I can tell.
With the same from Buddy Cop.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So that's step 1.
So that's step 1. Step 2, I'm going to build Mox's Scroll. This is before I knew you were coming.
Yeah.
So I have half of Mox's Scroll built and like my new border cards, right?
Right.
So like, not even like the Alara meddling mages. I have like secret layer meddling mages that are out. Like,
there was like the Asian girl meddling mage, right?
I have half of Mox's Scroll built, right? Then SWB posts the white control deck.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, all in on this white control deck. So it was like yesterday that he posted it?
Tuesday? A couple days ago, I don't know.
So I had to like dig for some of these cards, right?
Yeah, your Temple of the False Gods before cutting them.
So I made the deck, and I made it my own, right? I posted it on X, where I'm like, I think you have to play Gaia's Blessing, because I don't see how the white control deck could ever beat Dreadnought in a 3-game set without Gaia's Blessing. It's just like, you would always lose. Okay? So
and you might still always lose.
You might still lose, right? But you have no chance if you have Gaia's Blessing, right? And Gaia's Blessing is so cheap to play, right?
Sort of.
It's actually a substantial amount of deck building cost, because that's
a green splash, and
it's
also
6 planes that are not in your deck.
Yeah.
So Terminal at 20 is very different from Terminal at 14.
Anyways, well, I don't want to talk about this deck that you didn't play.
So then I'm like, I spent obviously hours, literal hours, like taking test draws with the white control deck. And I'm like, this deck is so cool. I would have locked them with Sabo's Web on turn 2. Oh, in response to this.
Okay, you're still talking about the white control deck, so let's move on.
And then at some point I'm like, this deck is just worse than every other deck. It's worse than black white control, worse than land still. So I'm like, I'm just gonna play Enchantress.
All right, you're playing Enchantress. How did your second and third rounds go?
3-0-6-1.
Oh, okay, nice. So you got 3-0.
Yeah. So
I played against goblins.
So 3-0-6-2. I defeated you first round 2-0. Second round I played against goblins. I lost a game where I had drawn like 10 extra cards with Enchantress effects. And then I had 2 Miri's Guiles and a fetch land, and I looked at 8 cards, and there was no enchantments.
Yeah, that happens.
8 cards. Okay, then I lost that game. Then game 2, he juked me into Anarchy Tormod's Crypt in 1 turn.
Cool.
But I had the complete reload just in my hand. So I just reassembled. Then in game 3, I just, overwhelming.
Yeah, Opal Wave versus Goblins tells all the time about round 3.
And then I played against Stompy in round 3, played by Landy Ho. And I think Stompy is probably the best deck against Enchantress in the field. And I just drew Seal of Cleansing on turn 2 all 3 games, or I would have lost all 3.
To stop Tangle Wire.
Yeah. So
right.
I had Seal of Cleansing on turn 2, and I still lost the Tangle Wire.
All right.
So that deck is just like, Guy, Rancor, Tangle Wire. If you don't have Seal of Cleansing, you always lose.
Yeah. Round 2, I almost forgot now what I played against. I played against a sweet all-foil Bant Madness deck, Survival Madness. I go Island Porton. He goes Meddling Mage naming Dreadnought. Huge fist pump for the Moxless Grow side.
Moxless Grow!
And then basically the way that matchup goes is like we're the same deck except for he has Meddling Mage and I have creatures that are larger than 2/2.
Doesn't he also have Survival?
Yes, Survival, but he didn't see it in both games. Because he only has like Survival or Careful Study and Frantic Search to find things. And obviously I have removal for Survival in the sideboard. And also, Survival isn't really that scary in that deck specifically because it only ever has like 3 or 4 lands in play. So it's just like maybe getting a creature return.
But
so if I just have like a big Quirion Dryad, then sometimes I can just win. But that's neither here nor there. And like basically it was just like Psychotog rules the battlefield.
basically, if he's not naming cards in your deck with Meddling Mage,
I mean, it's not a good start.
then like that's just a 2/2.
I am like absurdly resilient to Meddling Mage. I have Fire Ice, Swords of Plowshares, and Pyroclasm after sideboard, so I can handle lots of different.
And you could just cast the Psychotog.
Yeah, and I can put Psychotog on the battlefield. I mean, not if they're Meddling Mage naming Psychotog.
When I was looking for the Psychotogs, I want to see if I had I don't have extra Psychotogs, but I was looking in my gold cards if I had extra Psychotogs. I do have 3 old bordered Mystic Enforcers and 1 foil old bordered
that's
Mystic
awesome.
Enforcer. So I have 4.
There we go. Right after I cut it from the deck. And then
I was
in
going
the
to
final
wait. It's not
round,
in Moxless Grow.
No.
Was it in any version? I
It
feel
was
like
in the old. It was in the GAME version. Which is since gone because basically Psychotog's better against burn. It's 3 instead of 4 mana. Check out my YouTube videos for an explanation as to why. I'll have one publishing like maybe tomorrow or maybe later. And then in the final round, I played against Mono Black aggro with Phyrexian Scuda and Ritual Hippie and Phyrexian Arena. Basically, like Moneyball Black, but had Carnophage and Scuda. So a little bit of a different package.
So you had Scuda in play when you won the
I've had 2 straight
BAH tournament.
I've had 2 straight tournaments with Phyrexian Scuda involved
in the last round.
Yeah, which is more Scudas than I think I have been involved with since Invasion Planeshift Cube draft at Detail's house, where I drafted a Grixis deck that had Scuda.
Mana was there.
Yep. But yeah, anyways, that's Thursday night. I don't have too much to add. I've got obviously a lot to say about Moxless Grow, but I think we'll just have to save it.
So, all right, what's your opinion? My opinion coming into tonight was I was hanging out with SWB last night. I've made the joke multiple times. Like, I think we were at Cam's house, and like I had done like 4 social things that week. I think like I had done like brewery, movie club, party at Cam's house, and something else, and it was like an 80% overlap of friend group, just like slight different permutations, right? At each other. So I was hanging out with SCBB last night, and I said I think I was going to play Enchantress on Saturday, right? So that was my thesis statement, which is one of the reasons I played Enchantress tonight, to test it out for Saturday. And his argument was, no, I should play Elves on Saturday. So SWB played the newest version of Elves, the Nick Mayo version from Rochester Royals last week, 3060. And so we gained no knowledge because he's 3-0 with Elves, I'm 3-0 with an Enchantress, and I was going to play one of the 2 decks.
I mean, Nick Mayo lost in the semifinals to Dreadnought, so at the end of the day, that should be one signal that Elves possibly doesn't have the smoke to just kill Dreadnought all day, which is what we expect to happen on Saturday.
I'm very into Enchantress because I think that the best decks are going to be Dreadnought and Grow, and Enchantress is so much better against Grow than Elves is because you have Fire Ice.
I mean, I'm gonna have to hook Roland up with the list. Actually, I'll just tell him that this is the way.
Roland definitely has Fire Ice.
I'm just gonna move Roland onto my list off of his list of the Moxes and just be like, trust me, bro, and see if he'll stick. Although he does love Mystic Enforcer. How did Sperling's tournament finish?
He won. He lost to SWB in the last round.
And what was SWB playing?
Elves.
Okay. So
so his thesis statement is I should play Elves. My thesis statement is I should play Enchantress.
I mean, Elves loses a lot of game 1 to Dreadnought, and Enchantress loses slightly fewer.
I played 3 to 4 Thornscape Battle Mage main deck. I'm not just lay down elves.
I mean, I don't think that Thornscape Battle Mage matters enough. Like, you're just cutting off.
You need the white source.
You're just cutting off the games where you have survival of the fittest in the mid game. But the way that Dreadnought wins most game ones is by playing. So it's like at that point you don't get to 4 mana. You don't ever see the 4 mana or really the 7 mana, right? Survival plus an activation plus maybe you need to get a Birds of Paradise or a Yavimaya Granger to get your planes so that you can kick your obviously once you have Symbiote Thornscape you're good, but outside of all of that,
well, the way that you really win those games, if you can win, is you play multiple deranged hermits inside of the kill, and and SWB's deck is better. He has 3 deranged hermits.
Yeah, I mean I think Battle Mage is fine. I think maybe what's more important is just running 4 Priest of Titania, and the maximizing your amount of Priest Cradle draws also wins you the mid game. But yeah, obviously if you're a Thornscape is good because it can deal 2 damage, and that's helpful against goblins, and it's going to be helpful if anybody brings Little Kid Green White, which I don't know.
I don't remember what I played in the league finals. Was I 4 deranged hermits, one
I think you were 3 deranged, 1 poacher or whatever.
And no Kamal. I think I might have been 4 deranged.
Yeah. I think we finally got you to cut the Kamal, which I'm into.
SWB played Kamal tonight.
I mean, I don't think... Well, okay, so do you think he won every single one of his matches because he had Kamal on his deck?
No, he said his best innovation was second Mastercore.
Okay, well, yeah, I think Kamal doesn't factor in.
Oh, no. I'm off of Kamal.
Okay, cool. Tell us about the tournament Saturday really quick, and we'll wrap out.
So it's a big league shoe tournament, man. They have a bowling alley rented out.
Yeah, it's like a nightclub bowling alley situation. They got food.
And the prizes are insane.
And the prizes are foil City of Brass for first, foil Intuition for second, and then your classic dreadnoughts, powder kegs, and what
cards you would want.
Yeah,
right?
just solid cards.
I obviously am playing for the City of Brass, right? That's what I want.
The City of Brass is the prize.
So,
and then
it's going to be insane mono ringers, right? Just my car is Hank Zong, Roland Chang, Andy Levine,
Hank Roland, Andy,
and Dave Kaplan.
And Dave Kaplan, yeah. So
which is why my deck band is Enchanters or Elves.
Yeah.
Although Andy Levine is a wild card, right? He might play Academy Wrecker Reanimator. That's what he's playing tonight.
Yeah, he'll probably do that. All right. Well, we'll have to hear all about that tournament next week. But until then, love spike calling.